Hello, welcome to a new series of a new format, Pursuing God's Heart, calling it Pursuing God's Heart Yourself. And what I'm doing in this new format is going through the book of Ruth, but really working my way through some principles that can be helpful so that when you open the Bible and look at it, you can make sense of it and you can feed yourself, you can feast for yourself in God's word, enjoying what it says and getting to know him better. And so let's jump in. I'm not going to work my way through every verse in the book of Ruth. In fact, just some selected ones, but hopefully these will help you to get into the book for yourself. Notice the principle that I want to flag here, and that is that context really matters. And so looking at this, the first two verses of the book, we are immediately confronted with a statement of historical context. In the days when the judges ruled. Literally in the days when the judges judged, if you're looking at it in the original language, but it's referring to the book of Judges, that era of Old Testament history. After Joshua and all of his contemporaries died, the nation descends into this kind of dark period of about 4 centuries where they would sin, they would get into trouble, God would send enemies against them, they would cry out to God as a nation, and then God would send a deliverer, a judge, to deliver them from their enemies and restore them back to where they should be, but then they would just fall back into sin again. It's a really bleak book, the book of Judges, but right after Judges comes the book of Ruth, and it's in that context. So the black velvet, if you like, of the book of Judges is offset by this glorious gem of a book, the little book of Ruth, that is set in the time of the Judges. That's the historic context. So these first couple of verses jump right in there and tell us that there was a famine in the land, and a man of Bethlehem in Judah went to sojourn in the country of Moab. He and his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in Judah. They went into the country of Moab and remained there. Notice what it's kind of telling us by repetition here. We've got this Bethlehem in Judah reference, and it comes up a couple of times, and then we've got the country of Moab referenced again a couple of times. And so this family from Bethlehem goes to Moab. What's the significance of that? Today, people move all over the place, right? Maybe you live in one country, you used to live in another. Maybe you changed country or state because of work. Different situation back then. These are Jewish people. And the Jewish people were in the promised land, the place where God said he would bless and provide and care for them. But now there's a famine, and this family has crossed the border, and they've gone from Bethlehem in Judah to the country of Moab. That awareness of the Old Testament context, that awareness of the promised land and its significance creates in us a sense of, what's going to happen here? It's during the time of the Judges. That was a bleak time, and this family has moved into the country of Moab. According to the Jews, that's a very bleak place to be. There's so much more that we could say, but I just want to make sure we notice that context really matters. You can't read this and just pretend it's 21st century, a family moved from England to Wales or from California to Nebraska. It's not that. It's the context of the time of the Judges, and it's Jewish people moving from the promised land out into a place where you have to wonder, will God provide? Will God care? Will God be there for them? Okay, I'm going to leave it there for now, but I would encourage you, keep reading. Read through the book of Ruth and notice the historic, cultural, contextual references. See what you can spot. Look things up if you need to, and try to understand Ruth in its context, and you'll find that it is an absolute gem of a book. Thank you.